All right, I think we're back up. Let's see here. I got back to get to Lauren again. Knocked off the air by. Yeah, looks like we're back. All right. Thanks for your patience, folks. I'll climb back aboard and find you out there. And Lauren, I think we're back here. And I think we've lost friends. Oops, we lost Lauren. So we don't know yet where we are. So we're waiting to see. All right, we'll stand by for a second. See if we can reconnect. Got a power surge here. And all right, Lauren, let me see if we're back. I don't think we are yet on the internet. Hold on. Yeah, we are. All right, got a few people on, and thank you for your patience. Can you hear? We're good over here. Want to see if we've got an issue here on our end with audio. All right, let's see here. Hold on, Lauren. I'll check it.
Can you hear me,
Yeah, I
buddy?
can hear you fine. We just got knocked off the air. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Hold on a second. No, you should be able to hear us, Lauren. Let's see if anybody else out there can hear us. We're trying to do this. All right, folks, can you hear us out there? Hit me up and let me know if you can. Lauren's trying to get back on. Let's see if we're up and running yet on the. Anybody got us out there yet? Got to reboot after the lightning hit us. Let's see if we get any reaction from anybody at this point in time. Looks like they just took us off the air, Lauren. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
I think it might be on your end. I believe. Let's see. Hmm. I think my sound is working here. Folks, can you hear me out there? Yeah, they hear me. I don't know, Lauren. All right, we're working here. It looks like we're okay, Lauren. It's looks like it's you, Lauren. All right. Sorry, folks. The lightning knocked us off the air. And thank you for listening and hanging in there while we try to reboot. We'll see if we can get Lauren. Anyway, we started out replaying this interview. We did this interview before Anthony was drafted. And we'll see if we can get Ben on. We can't seem to get anybody else. All right, Ben, can you hear us or not?
Well, listen,
Can you hear us, Ben?
ain't,
Can you hear us?
is that old buddy Martin right
Yeah,
there?
well, because
Lord
Lauren
have
can't
mercy.
hear us. So, all right, so Ben's
All
here.
right, let me
Lauren's
see.
still trying to get on.
Make this work.
We got knocked off the air. I don't know if you can hear me or
I got to
not.
pull over.
Hoping you can hear me. I don't know. Okay, Lauren says he can hear me now. All right, let's see if we can get everybody on. There's Lauren. Ben, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you hear us, Ben? Can you hear us?
I can't
Can you?
hear y'all.
Oh boy. Well, we're having a
Can you
nightmare.
hear?
Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah. All right. So let's. Sorry, folks. This happens when the lightning hits you, and we got a little light
Hold
surge.
on.
And
Let's see.
I know it's not on my end because Lauren hears me. So let's try this. All right, Lauren. I'm waiting on Ben to try to catch up and see if we can get it to work. He's in his car. Yeah, we were talking about Anthony. Yeah, there'll be other Gators drafted. Probably not tonight, unless it's Osiris. He might get drafted tonight in the first round. I haven't caught up to the last thing I got from my colleague was Bears traded the Eagles for Jalen Carter. Did you hear that, Lauren?
I did.
Yeah.
That was kind of I was kind of trying to get on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Jalen Carter to and then the Bears took what was the kid
Paris Johnson
Wright,
went to
Darnell Wright from Tennessee,
Okay, I don't have all that
defensive
stuff in front
lineman
of me.
from Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't have them. We're gonna try Ben one more time and see if we have any luck. All right, Ben, can you hear us yet?
I can't.
You can't hear us, so
I can't hear. I can't hear y'all. I don't know
ah,
why I can't hear
it's
y'all.
I don't know.
Why can't I hear y'all tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
know. Man, hold on. Dang it! They tried to wrestle me.
There you go. He's having a hard time. We're all having a hard time tonight. Well, like I said, it was a
Yeah.
pretty proud moment tonight for Anthony. He's a good kid, and you know that. And we had discussed that earlier in the year when people started bagging on him, saying, "Hey, look, he's not doing this. Got ticketed for speeding, and he's going the wrong direction. He's about the money and all that sort of thing." And you came to his defense, as did I. And it's good to see him be victorious in the end. Now the rest of the job is to collect that 35 million or whatever he gets, and take care of his people, his mama, and all the things he's going to do. Vernell Brown's going to work for him. He's got to go now prove he can play at that level, and that's a challenge. If anybody ever had the gifts, he's got. I mean, he's loaded with the gifts to be able to be successful.
Mm.
Still a lot of pressure on an athlete, especially when you come in that high, when you're drafted fourth overall. And we'll see. If I ask you in your heart of hearts, Lauren, if you thought he could make it and you were willing to bet your money on it, I'm going to give you a wad of cash. Which way would you go?
I've been a little pessimistic here lately, but I'm gonna be optimistic. I think
Mm,
he will make it. I think I think he'll end up being a pretty decent pro. I would have liked to see him, as the number 4 pick. You're almost talking about a guy that's got to go in and almost be given the reins right away with the amount of money that the investment and things like that have been made.
mm-hmm.
But that's what I said. Maybe with the Seahawks or the Lions, he could have maybe sat behind Geno Smith or Jared Goff for a couple years and really got some season. And I think there in Indianapolis, I think they have like Gardner Minshew, Sam Ellinger, and Nick Foles was there for a minute. I think I'm not sure. I think those guys are still there. So to be interested to see the dynamic how that shakes out. But as a whole, I think he will. I think he's got the pedigree. I like the fact that he has good people around him. With you mentioned Vernell Brown, and I'm going to say that I, if I had to bet, somebody gave me a wad of cash, I'd bet that he turns out to be a pretty decent pro quarterback.
Um, Ben's having problems connecting tonight. I'm sorry about that. He's trying, but he's just not getting in, and we apologize for that. I'm going to keep trying, but it's the weather conditions are not conducive for that. And I think the thing, Francis says he's right. Shane Steichen is a guy who's very creative. He came over from the Eagles. He's now with the Colts head coach. He seems to understand the RPO system, right?
Mm.
A lot of people don't know how to use a running quarterback. They just don't know how. But he does seem to understand that. And I think that's one reason that he was so determined to get Anthony because he knew he could make him succeed. Now, not likely he'll go out there and burn it up to start the first game or two or three. How long is it going to take Anthony Richardson to develop in a system with Sean Steichen before we see him on the field and actually paying for what he's doing?
Yeah, I think you'll see him on the field pretty early, actually. Like I said, because he's the 4th pick. I mean, I think they'll try to see what they've got with him throughout the a couple preseason games, and then as they progress, I think they will design what they want to do around Anthony Richardson. So, like Fran said before, it's kind of like you got to kind of go in and learn the system. But a lot of times you're learning the system that's not built for you. Whereas, tomorrow morning, the offensive coaching staff of the Colts will go right into the mode of, developing should be developing an offensive system, which is very similar to what they ran with the Eagles, which is conducive to a mobile type of quarterback, not known as necessarily a thrower in Jalen Hurts. And I think, when you look at it, with all those factors, I think it's a really good situation for him. Creative coach that'll be able to put him in some good positions to get in there, throw some completions, and use his athletic ability.
I'm going to ask you a straight up question here, and you know where I'm going with this. And I'm not saying it to be critical. I'm just saying, why couldn't Billy Napier make Anthony Richardson fit and make it work?
I've asked myself that question throughout the season, and we talked about it a lot on Sundays. You, Ben, and I. Um, I just don't know. I don't know why. I was not in love with what Billy Napier was trying to do offensively. I don't think it necessarily either he didn't call the plays that fit Anthony. I mean, obviously Anthony in the press conference said that those were the plays that he was starting to be comfortable with. Napier was calling things that they had discussed during the week. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that the college game is structured. I'm not necessarily sure. I really don't know. It could have been, a mix of the receiver position. Billy Napier's offense. Using two tight ends. A lot of times when you use two tight ends,
Mm-hmm.
you've got some. Like Utah, you can create some mismatches with those two or three tight ends that you have out there. Whereas they were a little limited that way. So I think it's just a lot of factors. I don't think you could put it on Billy Napier and Anthony Richardson. I just think that the system that Billy Napier likes to run was not necessarily, the personnel was not there for him on a consistent basis. When you're throwing the guys like, Keon Zipper would have his flashing moments and, but then, Xander's just was kind of a glorified tackle at times. Wasn't anybody that could create mismatches at the tight end position, things like that. So, you know.
Well, it is on his
uh,
watch. I mean, and I know if you're a coach, if I was the coach there, and saw this magnificent player, and I couldn't get it out of him and get him on the field, it would be upsetting to me. Now, I'm not saying sometimes things just don't line up right, timing,
mhm.
injuries, style, maturity, etc. And he had a young quarterback who had a lot to learn in a short period of time to learn it. But the fact is, it's going to be regretful if, in fact, he goes and wins a couple of Super Bowls, and then you look back and say, how come he couldn't win a few games? This guy was so good. He won two Lombardi trophies for the Colts. I mean, I'm just saying, how do you quantify? How do you justify that? So that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
Again, blaming
I
not
think you.
blaming anybody. I'm just making a point.
Well, I mean, and sometimes, buddy, sometimes, just like in high school. I mean, some guys, you look up and,
It
i.e.
happens. I
Kyle
know
Trask,
it happens.
they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
they don't start, and their best football is ahead of them, and I just think that's the case with Anthony Richardson. I don't think it has. I mean, obviously, if you were going to be a first round pick, you should leave and go to the NFL, and obviously having the opportunity to provide for your family for generations, and I mean, I just think that some guys' best football is ahead of them, and Anthony Richardson, I think, he's barely 21, right?
Yeah, I think he turns 21 this in May, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, you look, he's extremely young for a third year player at the college level, and so you look at it. I mean, by the time he's really able and grows into, he'll be in his fourth or fifth year in the NFL. I just think that from a development standpoint, his his draft stock. I mean, his best football is still ahead of him. And I just think that he hadn't. Could the light bulb have come on? I think the light bulb would have come on a little bit more in this second year under Billy Napier, but obviously you can't pass on $35 million. You got to go. So I just think there's a lot of factors
Yeah.
and a lot of things that could be debated, but I don't think when people try to say, well, why would he stay because of the? I don't think it had anything to do with the fan base or being
No,
part of
it
a
was simply
rebuild.
a business decision, of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. I think it had absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah.
I think if somebody would if he could have made $35 million and stayed at Florida, he would, because I think he enjoyed being here at the University of
Yeah.
Florida. He enjoyed being a college student. I think he was somebody that enjoyed the academic piece of it that goes with it, and I just think you know, I just think it was an opportunity to go, and I think he'll develop into a decent football player.
Here's one of our real good fans. By the way, several good comments made. Jennifer Lay says, "Why should Anthony stay when his draft stock was so high? Florida's rebuilding and toxic fan base, so on." Your friend. I think we've got somebody else weighing in here in just a minute. Well, I think Dan Bond's going to try to join us in a moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you should or the. I don't necessarily agree with David on that. Sometimes you can really ruin a young quarterback by putting him when he's not ready. Um, but just like you say, sometimes the chemistry's not right, the maturity level's not right, things just aren't right. You put him in wrong. But if it turns out he's successful in the National Football League, well, certainly. I mean, part of that's because he played at Florida, got good training, learned some things. I read a piece the other day that said he apparently went to Ponte Vedra to work on his footwork, and that came.
Mm.
So hang on a second, our buddy's calling in here. Well, he was going to get in one way or the other, and you won't be able to talk to Lauren, but here he is. He persevered. That's what made him a great tight end. Ben Troop couldn't get in any other way, but he called on the phone. Good job, brother. I'm sorry about your bad luck there.
Hey, listen, I don't know. Listen, I don't know what it is about this technology these days. So listen, what I'm gonna do tomorrow, brother, for me, you and Lauren, I'm gonna go to Best Buy. I'm gonna go to the Geek Squad, and I'm gonna beat the hell out of one of them. And hopefully, but I will say this. I am very, 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 very happy for Anthony Richardson. I mean, obviously, Buddy and Lauren, we knew he was gonna go. We knew he was going to go top 10, but I had a feeling that when Indianapolis came and I said, dude, they want a young quarterback they can build around. I mean, obviously, I would have loved him to go to my Titans, but I'm super duper happy for Anthony Richardson. It's a premium on these quarterbacks when you look at Bryce Young 1, CJ Stroud 2, Will Anderson 3, and I was like, it's something about them coaches. They fell in love with Anthony Richardson in the draft process, so I'm super duper happy for that young man.
Yeah. There's a reason that Colts plane was parked on there that game's airport tarmac all the time. They knew who they wanted. They wanted their man. And you got to feel pretty proud tonight, I know, as you're a Gator and you play for the Gators, and you did, and you were a great player. How does it feel to have one of your players that you supported get to this level and be the overall fourth pick? How does it feel for you, Ben?
It's humbling. It's humbling for two reasons. One, this young man, I mean, people don't know the type of scrutiny he had to deal with. Being from Gainesville, choosing to go to Florida, wearing number 15, playing quarterback, going through the ebbs and flows of being the only guy not benefiting from being in the offense for multiple years, getting a brand new coach in Billy Napier. But I think the greatest decision Anthony Richardson made was hiring Vernell Brown to be his manager. After the fact that you got a guy who's known you from a young pup since you came out your mother's womb to be able to nurture you and help you as y'all both transition to Indianapolis. I'm happy for both of the guys. It blew my mind. The reason why I love the draft is because of the surprises. I knew Anthony Richardson was going to go high. I did not know he was going to go top 4. Congratulations to him. I said, Mama, he made it. 4th overall, he's the highest drafted quarterback in the history of the University of Florida. And I think he's the second highest player ever.
Well, he's only the second highest. He's only the second highest quarterback. Spurrier was number 3.
Oh, Spurrier was once again the ball. I apologize, Coach Spurrier. Being number 3, I know I'm going to get an ad tweet from Coach Spurrier today saying, "Hey man, give me my dues." But I will say, Buddy and Lauren, from everything we watched this young man go through last year, 2022, and to grow up through scrutiny and not point no fingers. Didn't have the overall season he wanted collectively, but individually, you can't hide talent. 6'4", 244, running the 4.4. I think that, and he get to play in the dome. for 8-9 games out of the year, which means it's gonna be even faster. Look out, AFC South. I know they got Trevor Lawrence down there in Jacksonville, and I know they just got CJ. I know they got CJ Stroud, over there with them Texans, but they gonna have to deal with Mr. Anthony Richardson for the next coming years. Congratulations to that young man.
So you think he's going to impact the team right away? Apparently.
He got Jonathan. He got a big time running back. He got a top running back. He got a top tier defense. They're gonna have to add some pieces, but just like with Lamar Jackson, congratulations on him getting his new deal. Baltimore probably woke up and drunk the common sense juice. Yes, you get him back. Under wraps. I think, buddy, if they don't try to make him something he's not. The thing about the NFL is, don't try to make him something he's not. Play to his strengths. And yes, I think he can make an impact right now. If you think about it, buddy, in the AFC South, you got C.J. Stroud, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Ryan Tannehill, and you got Anthony Richardson. Some would say that the worst quarterback in the division is with the Titans, and he got the most experience.
Good point. Now you won't be able.
He
to
is
hear,
the worst.
You won't be able to hear Lauren. He can hear you. So when Lauren talks, he won't hear you. He won't hear you, Lauren. So go ahead and make the comment. Lauren says he's the worst. All right, Lauren, you make a quick comment on it. Ben can't hear you, but we can hear you, Lauren. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. You look at the AFC South. They've got some star power at the quarterback position. You have the two young guns and Stroud and Richardson, and then obviously Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own. And Ryan Tannehill's kind of the old pro of the group, the most experienced. I'm a Titans fan, so I'm not necessarily always thrilled with Tannehill's play. But
you're a Titans fan. You talked to a guy who played for the Titans, by the way.
Oh, I know. I know.
And he's excited about this new stadium they're building up there in Nashville. I saw you tweet there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it, and you were all excited about Nashville now. You going to be moving up there, Ben?
Look, I don't know if I'm gonna be moving back up there, buddy. But as a person that was blessed enough to never have to leave the South, growing up in Georgia, college in Florida, NFL, Tennessee, I'm happy for that city because I know how much that city wants to be. They want to be respected. Like these big, because it's not a big market city. It's not Atlanta. It's not a New York. It's not a San Francisco or LA. But when they hosted the draft in 2019, and I was blessed enough to be able to go to the draft, me and BJ Bennett, and they was like, "Look, man, this city is in negotiations to get a dome." I said, "So they can hold the Super Bowl." I don't know who's gonna. It's definitely not gonna be the Titans when they host it, but I'm gonna be there for whomever's in it because I'm just happy for a city that is known for more than country music, tight jeans, big 10-gallon hats, and $10,000 boots. I am super duper happy for the city of Nashville. Yes, sir.
Well, you can't see all this and hear it all, but we got a conglomeration of telephone callers and people online. Now with Dan Bond joins us from out in Texas and going away and has things to say. So Ben, I'm gonna let you, because you can't hear him. I'm gonna let you have the final comment here tonight and set the tone on this. What is the bottom line here tonight? What's the moral of the story?
The moral of the story tonight is about a job well done when you talk about a whole bunch of young men who were started well before they got to these colleges and universities of their choice. I think I understand when you're talking about what is the greatest thing you can do as an athlete. It is not getting drafted. It's being recognized. When you get drafted, I mean you're being recognized by these 32 billionaire. It doesn't matter what school you go to tonight. I'm rooting for every last player who's going to hear their name called on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because it is a job where there are 250-some names. And even if you don't get drafted, don't think that it's the end. It's going to be a new beginning. But I got to say this to Anthony Richardson. Congratulations, young man! Not for the fact that you got drafted, but for the fact that you stood the course when you won games and lost games. You took those questions, you shook hands, you hugged babies, and you took those pictures. The fact that you did the part that they could not coach you up with. The athleticism, it was through the roof. But congratulations to you. Congratulations to everybody that's gonna hear their name called tonight. And look, man, I'm just happy for everybody involved, buddy, because as a person that got drafted back in 2004, in the second round by the Tennessee Titans, it's always a place in my heart because I know that God saw fit for me to have my dreams come true, and I'm just happy for every single player that's gonna hear their name called today, regardless of what school you went to.
Well said, Ben, and thanks for persevering past all the electronic issues. And You kick technology's butt, buddy. Nice job.
Hey, listen, and Buddy Martin, I ain't finna let Buddy Martin and Lauren Meadows be out there by themselves. If you got to hear my voice and see my face, that's why I do radio now. I got a voice for radio and a face only a mother can love, and she love me. She ain't got no choice. She ain't got no choice.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of which, I got to do this, and I'll bring Dan. Good evening, Dan. How you doing? I'm bringing you in just in time to see my grow tower. This is where we talk about good food and eating healthy. You got to eat. Look, from farm to table. That's right here in my house. All right. I picked those luscious greens, and I did it last night. And I make a scrumptious salad, and it looks something like this when it's done. You've seen this before. I've said this actually was something I made. All right. My wife helped me cook the burger just a little bit, but the bottom line is nice lean beef, or you can put fish on it. Fish is even better. Look at that. That's a nice salad. Now, look, I'm growing my own. I'm a farmer. Ben Troop's mama's going to buy one of these. Go to buddytowers.com and look it up. If you're interested in knowing more about how you can get one, well, DM me and we'll get you some information. There it is right there. Making me hungry. Dan, how you doing, buddy? Dan Bond, how you doing? I guess Dan Bond doesn't hear us. Dan? Hello, Dan? Lauren, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I guess, Dan, you can't hear us, Dan? No good. Well, this is the night for this. It's happened everywhere. Yeah. So it's on you. I don't know what it is. It's on your end. But, yeah, sorry about that. And we've had it for everybody. Good night. Thanks for trying, Lauren. Yeah. Well, I like Ben's spirit because he's happy for everybody. Ben, he's happy that young men do well. Got quite a group here tonight. Your buddy Jennifer Lay, who we haven't heard a lot from, she says, welcome, let's see what she says here. Love me some Ben. She said, all right. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Gene McLean said, Farmer Martin, that's me. Yes, exactly. And Grace Pelayo said, yeah, well, Dan the man. Well, Dan was on for a minute, but he couldn't hear. There's something about it tonight, Lauren. You're the only one can hear me. So that's good for me and not so good for you. All right, so let's finish this up. We got 10 minutes to go. I don't have anybody who might happen to have catch me up on the draft. I'll have to see if I can catch this up. You can get it off ESPN.
I got it here, buddy.
Can you read it out?
Where we want to go.
We know through Anthony. We know that the first pick with Charlotte was Bryce Young. The second pick was C.J. Stroud going to Houston. And then Houston traded up and made a swap and got Will Anderson. And then, of course, the big news for us was Andy Colts picked Anthony Richardson. At 8:40, I marked it down the time. Anthony was wearing a gray suit with a white turtleneck, looking really sharp and looked classy and acted classy, and he was thrilled to death. And then the fifth, the Seahawks came in, and I forgot who they picked. Pick it up from the Seahawks.
They picked the corner from Illinois, Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
Kind of like Dion, and then Paris Johnson Jr. For the Cardinals, offensive tackle from Ohio State. Tyree Wilson, defensive end from Texas Tech, went to the Raiders. And then the first running back off the board, Bijan Robinson, a name that a lot of people know from Texas. Jalen Carter dropped to 9. Some people thought he was going to be the first pick in the draft. He went to the Eagles. So basically going to be playing for an instant contender. Darnell Wright, offensive tackle from Tennessee, went to the Bears at 10. Peter Skoronsky, smart guy from Northwestern, offensive tackle, went to my Titans. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, who transfers at Georgia Tech, transferred to Alabama, went to the Lions. Lucas Van Ness from Big DN from Iowa, went to Green Bay. And then Broderick Jones, offensive tackle from Georgia, with the Steelers. And that's at the 14th pick.
Okay.
And that's the last one so far.
We might be getting into Osiris Torrance here, territory here next.
Oh, yeah.
picks and see where he's going to go.
Yes, sir.
And what's amazing is that Florida has 11 draft eligible players, and if they end up getting 8 or 9, that's pretty good for a team that supposedly had no good recruiting the last 2 or 3 years, right? So it was terrible
Oh, yeah.
recruiting, but they're going to wind up probably getting 7, 8 guys drafted. So, and there's this stat too, which I think is really impressive. I had it up last night about the only schools to have someone drafted in every round. And Florida being one of those. USC, I think, was one. I think Michigan was the other.
Michigan, Michigan too,
pretty
right?
Impressive, yeah, pretty impressive there. So they'll have a good one. Well, as long as we're talking and thinking about Gator football, we haven't get to that point where we're doing our way too early projections yet. You went out of town. First of all, how was your trip? I know it was probably great. How long did you spend in Rome? Let's talk about where we think the Gators are at this point in time as they progress, and whether we hear any news about the transfer portal.
Well, yeah, we were fortunate enough. We spent 5 days in Rome, and then 6.5 days in Paris. And we could talk about it another time because this is a sports show. But definitely great trip. Rome is more of a compact city, so you can kind of walk a lot of it.
Like New York,
Paris
right?
is a little bit more. Yeah, Paris is a little bit more spread out, so you have to kind of take the metro. I mean, you could walk Paris, but it's a little bit more walking than Rome. But enjoyed both cities. We had a great time. Weather wasn't optimal, rained a lot, but that's kind of par for the course sometime when you go over there. But I was able to, I guess I was surprised at the lack of offense in the spring game. I was able to catch some of the highlights and things like that. And then very surprised with the transfer of Xavier Henderson in the transfer portal.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot. While you were gone, we talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
And
I was.
Franz insisted not to worry. And he says that he felt like there were too many good young receivers going to cut Henderson's playing time, he says. But yet it looked to me like he was going to be a factor, that he had production, the speed.
Yeah.
But maybe there was something that Billy Gonzalez didn't see in him. I don't know.
Yeah, and I thought, and to me, I thought he would actually, and it was kind of the antithesis to what I thought. I thought he was ready to take the next step, and then when they hired Billy Gonzalez, I thought that step would be amplified. So yeah, I mean, who knows, But I thought that he maybe would benefit from Gonzalez coming back more than any other receivers. And I think I mentioned that. I thought he was set to probably put himself in a position to be a drafted, guy in the third to next year's draft, 3rd to 5th round, be a solid pro under Billy Gonzalez. So, but it's not an exact science. I hear rumblings of him possibly transferring back to Miami where he's from. So, who knows? Maybe he's missing homesick.
Went down there for a visit.
Yeah.
I think today, in fact.
Yeah. So you never know. I mean, it just I think that like I told you, I had that conversation with Kevin Sumlin some time back, and it's just a new normal now. Just get used to guys and girls in the other sports, jumping around, and I think this is just going to be the new normal.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think of all the styling on the draft, the way people are dressing up?
They rocking everything now. They got stylists. They're paying the stylist 6 figures to get them looking good. So, that those millions that pay for a lot of Tom Ford, Armani, Louis Vuitton, that type of stuff.
They get in your closet now, man. That brand.
Yeah,
come on now. I've seen your stuff.
We're Joseph A. Bank House. That's
I got one of those.
That's for men's warehouse. Yeah. That's where we go.
In a category under which nobody cares, I just want to say that my Rays hammered the White Sox tonight, 14-5. Okay, so they needed that. They needed a win. They lost a couple in a row. That never happens in the Rays. So they're back. Good to hear that. All right, well, welcome back to town. Good to have you back. You'll be doing your. I got a trivia question for you somewhere. I wrote it down. It was Spurrier's, and Freddie Weeby gave it to me, so we didn't get it on Tuesday night. And you might know this. Who were the 3 highest drafted Gators before tonight?
I do know.
Right.
And we talking common era or all together?
Well, we're talking about Florida's 3 highest drafted players. Who were they?
Okay, so there was 2 running backs. I can't remember their names.
No, not even close. No.
I beg to differ, buddy.
Well, you have to ask the ball coach. I'm gonna
call challenge. I'm gonna call challenge on the ball coach there because I looked it up.
All right. Well, all right.
Here's I looked it up last week.
Here's the Freddie called me and said.
Here we go.
Said.
I got okay. So, so was it? It was so. If we're talking, I think what Spurrier would have said was himself.
Number 3, 49ers, 66. Yeah.
Dante Fowler.
Yeah, he was 3rd. There was one other one in between.
And Gerard Warren.
You got it. Ain't no running backs in there.
Well, there were 2 running backs in 45 and 50. Yeah. Look it up.
And
two
where?
2 running backs went second.
And where?
Went second.
Where?
In the draft.
What year?
45 and 50.
1945?
And 1950.
Okay,
yep.
You're talking about Rick Caceres in 50, probably no. Running back in the guy. There was a guy, yeah, okay. Though we ain't talking about modern era stuff. Modern era.
They were like, West Chandler went. Yeah. West Chandler went 3rd too. Dan Bond. That's right.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave you the expert guy. You're supposed to know all this, right?
Yeah, but you're right. Back then there was like 8 teams in 45 and 50.
Yeah, I was around then. West Chandler was a great player, by the way. I saw him play. He was fantastic. All right, Lawrence, great to see you, buddy, again. Great to see you. And I hope.
Yes, sir.
I hope Mama Marcia's doing all right. She's brought back a lot of gifts, and I'll be expecting mine in the mail. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lauren Matters. Here about Tuesday night. Right. He's going to give you some stuff. He's got stuff to give away. Thank you, Lauren. Take care, my friend.
All right.
Good to see you. All right. Coach Lauren Meadows in the house doing his thing. We appreciate it very much. We're going to go out now and tell you thank you for sticking with us tonight through thick and thin, the weather and all the stuff. Again, I'm sure you know by now Anthony Richardson was picked 4th by the Colts. It's a great day to be a Gator and a great night. I want to tell you what else is great, and that's our friends at Renstar Medical Research. Been supporting us for a long time, supporting our community for a long time, looking out after your health. They have a high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility downtown Ocala with cutting-edge clinical research trials in areas like Alzheimer's, dementia, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraines, fibromyalgia, along with many other conditions that affect people in our area. And since 1998, they've been doing these clinical research trials, more than 700 of them, and they continue to partner with prominent pharmaceutical and biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. If you'd like to take part in one of these, you could possibly qualify, maybe get time and travel paid for. Go to redstar.net and find out about it. You can find out how to get aboard. Redstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Thank you very much for staying with us. Sorry about the electrical problems. The electrical storm knocked us off the air, but we stood in there and you did too, and thank you for that. Have a great night, everybody, and congratulations to the number 4 pick in the National Football League draft, Anthony Richardson.